sprechen im neuen Gold-Invest-Interview heute mit dem spannenden Goldexplorer Classic Minerals. Das Unternehmen konzentriert sich auf die Erkundung einiger vielversprechender Projekte in Western Australia. Wir konnten heute CEO Dean Goodwin für ein Interview gewinnen, um uns die Story genauer erklären zu lassen. Dean, good to have you. This is our first interview, so I would ask you to give us a bit of background about yourself and let us know how you came to join Classic Minerals.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about Classic. I'm a geologist, a qualified geo, 33 years experience. I worked for companies like WMC in my early parts of my career, worked in Fiji and mainly in the Kambalda Kalgoorlie region. Worked for Resolute for 7 years, and that's where I met Klaus. Also have my own consultancy business. And I've sort of worked in that since 1998, and that took me to Bounty and the Forrestania project, where I worked for 3.5 years for Bounty Gold Mine and also for Sons of Gwalia. So I've worked with quite a few different companies over the years. But how Classic came about was just a bit of a chance thing, I suppose. A friendly meeting around a fire one night with a few red wines, and a discussion about how they were going to progress the project forward. And my name got mentioned, and then I came in and spoke to the guys here at Classic, and they said, "Well, you've had all this experience on our Forrestania project," and it sort of took off from there. And I'm having a great time here.
Okay, good to hear. Which brings us also, of course, to the next point. What is Classic all about? What are the company's flagship projects?
It has a couple of projects. Obviously, the Forrestania project, the Lady Magdalene, Lady Ada, where we have 216,000 ounces of JORC-compliant gold in the ground. Cat Gap, which is where a lot of the results have been coming from over the last 12 months. We also have a project in the Fraser Range. No doubt you would have heard about Legends, a new discovery in the Fraser Range. We're about 100 kilometres from there. That project's been managed by independents. They are spending money on that project, and that allows us a bit of flexibility, of course, but it also allows us mainly to be able to focus on the gold.
Okay. All right. Well, not a bad decision, as gold looks pretty good still, especially in Australian dollars. But give us an overview. What did you achieve at those Western Australian projects so far? I mean, like you said, there have been a lot of drill results coming out. I saw just yesterday you put out some pretty impressive drill results again, for example.
Yeah, well, I've been with Classic now for just over 2 years. When I joined, they were doing some resource drilling at Lady Ada, Lady Magdalene. We stopped doing that and started focusing on Cat Gap. And reasoning behind that is because it's a project that I was very, very familiar with 20 years ago, and I had a good feeling that we could get some very good drill results from there and be able to expand that into a fairly sizable resource. Obviously, we haven't done a resource calculation on Cat Gap yet, but that will be coming in the not too distant future. And also another resource calculation or upgrade for the Forrestania project. That's coming very shortly as well.
Okay. So that are some of the next steps, getting the drill results together for resource calculation, which is always a big step for any exploration company. Work-wise, what are you going to do next? More exploration work, more drilling? Let's say, what can we expect in the next couple of weeks and months?
Good question. I suppose over the next couple of weeks, we're obviously leading up to Christmas here in Australia. Things tend to slow down a little bit, but that's not going to stop us. We've got a drilling program that's starting in the next few days. We're going back out to Cat Gap. That'll be about a week, 2 weeks of drilling. That'll be taking us up to Christmas. Then early in the new year, we'll be going back to Cat Gap to conduct additional drilling, not only down plunge of the mineralisation, but also along strike to the north and to the south from the existing results that we've already been able to get over the last 12 months or so.
Okay, sounds that like even in the slow season you're going to be busy. Can you give us an idea of what kind of grades you're getting there? Is these continuous? Are these shoots? Are these ore bodies? How would you classify that? Just a bit.
Yeah.
What kind
Yeah.
and what grades?
Well, certainly the cat gap mineralisation, I think, is probably going to average over 5 grams. So it's a very nice high grade ore body. I'm still yet to determine the geometry of the ore shoots, and this program that we're just about to conduct over the next week or two, that should give us a lot of insight into what's happening from that perspective. And the benefit of that, of course, is then that in turn allows us to be more accurate with our further follow-up drilling programs going forward. Because once I understand what's happening in terms of the shoot controls, then we can place holes a lot more accurately, and we don't waste a lot of drill holes. And I'm not one, I don't like wasting drill holes. So for me, I need to get an understanding pretty quickly, and no one does, no. But I like to get an understanding as quickly as possible. And so far, we've been very, very lucky. Well, not lucky. I think we've planned the holes very carefully over the last year or so. We've been getting some outstanding drill results from Cat Gap. I think that tells you that the system, is quite robust, and I think that there's a good chance that we could find over 500,000 ounces, over the next sort of 4 to 6 months.
Well, that's certainly something to look forward to. But still, sort of short term. What are your overall goals for Classic Minerals, though? Where do you see the company, let's say, in a couple of years, 5 years, something like that?
Yeah, good question. I think the ground position we have, not just at Cat Gap, but we have over 500 square kilometres of ground in the Forrestania Belt. Mm-hmm. Forrestania Belt's really interesting in itself because most of the exploration has been conducted, I suppose, in the eastern side of the belt, and we have the western side of the belt, which hasn't had a lot of exploration, certainly in the last 20 years since I was there. The eastern side of the belt in excess of 1.7 million ounces, and that is the reason why most of the exploration was focused on that side. I can't see any reason why we can't have the similar ounce base, 1 million to 1.5 million ounces on the western side. So my plan is to build the resource base through organic growth and good exploration. We have 93 targets to go and test. They're my targets that I developed 20 years ago, so I have a very, very good understanding of the area. So through organic growth, I can see us building the resource base and hopefully one day build a mill and be mining in 2 years' time, 3 years' time.
That would certainly be a great development. Yeah, so you're not thinking about selling the project or the company, or would that be an alternative to if the right price came along?
Yeah, I think we wouldn't sort of not look at an opportunity like that if it did come along. But yeah, I would like to take the company into production and grow through that. That would be a very exciting time. I haven't really had the opportunity to do that with companies in the past. I've sort of done all the exploration and then they get bored out, and never get into the mining side of it. But yeah, this is an opportunity for me, I suppose, and for the board to really grow the company and take it into production. It would be a pretty exciting time.
Okay, thank you very much. About one last question. Why, in your personal opinion, of course, should investors think about investing in Classic Minerals right now at this point in time?
I would think we are quite undervalued at the moment, given our asset base and our current market capitalisation, which is only under $20 million. Given the fact we've got 216,000 ounces sitting in the ground at Lady Ada, Lady Magdalene, the Forrestania area, the huge exploration upside, I think, and the potential for Cat Gap to grow into something in the order of 500,000 to 1 million ounces. I think there's plenty of reasons there for people to jump in. I certainly have invested a fair bit of my own money into Classic because I'm sort of backing myself here and the company to grow. And yeah, it's an exciting time.
Okay, thank you very much. That's certainly interesting. Sounds like an interesting project. I wish you best of luck, happy holidays, and we'll check in next year to see how it all went. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.